some problems which we have discussed already in the flowchart section, flowcharts algorithms. We have discussed several problems, right? Those problems you write it as programs today. Okay, apart from whatever the pending programs you have for the last week, those and these. Okay, first of all we'll see like given a number, let us say 1 to 5 is given, some of the individual digits we have to calculate. Okay, we have discussed this problem, yes or no? Some of the individual digits, so we have to get first 5, then 2, so 5 plus 2, then 1, the result will be 8. This should be the output. Okay, given a number, we have to get some of the individual digits of the given number. Okay, so now what is the input? What is the input? What is the input? Given number, right? Number only the input. So n is equal to integer of input of enter some number. Okay, that is the statement. After getting the number, we have to, what we have to get? Individual digits. How we can get the individual digit? Like 5 we have to get. So how we can get? Yeah, n mod 10. Yeah, if you perform division with 10, if you consider the remainder, then that is 5, isn't it? 1 to 5 mod 10, what will be the result? 125 mod 10. Mod operation means it will give remainder after division. 5, so we will get 5. Okay, afterwards this 125 we have to change it as we have got 5 already, we will change it as 12. So how we can get 12 is 125 by 10. Okay, 125 by 10, then we will get what kind of division we have to perform? Floor division. Why? Because 125 by 10 means it will give 12.5, but we wanted to get 12, so we have to use floor division. Okay, 125 slash 10, then it will give 12. Next, afterwards, from this 12 we have to perform again mod 10. So same steps, these two steps we will be repeating here. 12 mod 10, then what we will get? 2, because the remainder is 2 after division. Next, this 12 we have to change it as 1. How we can get 1? By performing floor division. So 12 floor division, then we will be getting 1. Next, from this one again we will be performing mod operation. Same 2 steps we will be repeating. Okay, so same two steps. What is the first step? N mod 10. What is n here? 1. So 1 mod 10. 1 mod 10 will be 1 only. Whenever we have left side operand is less than the right side operand, then we will get left side operand itself. So 1 mod 10 means 1 only. 4 mod 10, 4. 14 mod 10, 14 mod 10, 4. 15 mod 10, 5. 5 mod 10, 5. 6 mod 10, 6. Got it? Next, so 1 mod 10 will be 1. Afterwards again this step, that is 1 floor division with 10. Then what we will get? 0. Yeah, here we will get 0. Then whenever we get 0, then we can stop here. Okay, so if you observe how many times we are repeating same 2 steps, these steps we are repeating for 3 times. Why we are repeating for 3 times? Because only 3 digits we have. Okay, if you take 3 1 2 5, then 4 times we have to repeat same 2 steps, isn't it? So now what is the first step? This 125 is nothing but n, given number n. So now you tell the first step, n mod 10. Okay, that we have to preserve somewhere. Okay, this is the remainder, right? Let us give this one as the remainder. Okay, afterwards, after getting the remainder, we are changing n value till this particular time n is 125. Okay, afterwards we are changing n as 12. How we are changing? N floor division 10, that we have to assign to n itself. So n is equal to n floor division 10. Okay, what is the objective of this one? What is the objective? Is we have to get the sum of the individual digits. So earlier, before getting single digit, first digit, this 5, what is the sum? We haven't added anything, so sum we will consider as 0. We haven't added anything, so sum will be 0. Let us initialize the sum variable as 0. Okay, whenever we get this particular remainder, this remainder is nothing but one digit, right? That digit we have to add to the sum. So what is the statement? Sum is equal to whatever the sum we have, that we have to update it as sum plus r. Okay, now as of now, what is the sum? 5. 0 plus 5, that is sum is 5. Afterwards, now what is n value? 12. So n mod 10, that will be the remainder. Next, n we will update as n floor division 10. So it will be changed as 1. Then whatever the remainder we have got, that is 2, we have to add to sum, that is 5. 5 plus what is our 2? 5 plus 2, 7, that will be the sum. Okay, again what we will do? N mod 10, what is n? N is this 1. So 1 mod 10, it is 1. Next, 1 floor division 10, n we will update like this. Okay, then 1 floor division 10 will be floor division 0. Okay, so now sum is equal to, what was the sum? 7 plus what is r? R is nothing but this remainder, this is 1. So 7 plus 1, 8. So sum will be 8. Afterwards, this we will update it as 0. Whenever n value becomes 0, then we have to stop. Okay, until that time we have to repeat this step. So what is the condition to stop? Whenever n becomes 0, then we have to stop. If n is not equal to 0, then we keep on repeating. Okay, so what is the statement? This we have to put it in a loop. Why? Because we have to repeat. So while what's the condition? N greater than 0, we have to repeat these 3 steps. When this particular condition will be failed, whenever n becomes 0, then this condition will be failed, then we can print here sum. Print sum. What? We didn't discuss that topic. Okay, let me tell. We are having 2 loops in Python. 2 loops. One is for loop. Okay, we have used several times for loop, right? In general, for is called counter control loop. For is called counter controlled loop. In the sense, whenever we know how many times set of statements needs to be repeated, then we will use for loop. What is the objective of using loop? Why we will use loop? Whenever we have some statements like print welcome is there, that welcome we have to print for 10 times. Then instead of writing print welcome for 10 times, we will write one time and we will put it in a loop. That loop will be repeated for 10 times. Got it? That is the basic motivation behind using this loop. Okay. Now, if you know how many times this set of statements needs to be repeated, then we will go for loop. I am repeating once again. If you know how many number of times we have to repeat the loop, then we will go for loop. Okay, that's why it is called as counter control loop. Counter control loop, in the sense we will be having some counter that until that counter reaches to the maximum bound, we will be repeating. That is counter control loop. Okay, whereas this while loop, when we will use while loop? This is the next question, right? So while loop we will use to repeat the set of statements multiple times, until one particular event occurred. Try to understand. We will be repeating this set of statements execution several times. Okay, how many number of times we don't know, but until one particular event occurs, we will be repeating. Understand? Then we will use while loop. Okay, that's why it is called as event controlled loop. For is counter controlled loop, whereas while loop is event controlled loop. Until that particular event occur, it will be repeated. Like I will here only you can observe. Suppose the given input is 3125. Then how many times this loop will be repeated? 3125. 4 times. Okay. Suppose if I give 125, if I give 5000, 4 times. If I give 50, if I give 59, 2 times. So if I give 9, 1 time. So it depends upon how many number of digits that we have in the given number. This loop has to be repeated. We don't know prior to execution, isn't it? While executing only, we are providing the input. Whether I will give 59 or 5995, I don't know. So until this particular event occur, what is the event here? Until n becomes 0, it will be repeated. Whenever n becomes 0, that is event occurred, then it will stop. Understand? That's why it is called as event control loop. Now I hope you understand when we have to use for loop, when we have to use while loop. Right. So after completing this loop, we have to print sum. That's it. Okay, print sum. Where we this we have to align with this while. Why? Because after completing this while only, we have to print sum. Right? Yeah. For everyone, is it clear? This logic. Shall I repeat once? Shall I repeat? Yeah. Yeah. See here, we are having n value. We are taking n as the input. Okay. Let us say 957 is the n. 957 is n. And we wanted to find some value. Okay. Initially, we will assume this sum as 0. Okay. And what is the logic here is, first we will try to get 7. Then we will try to get 5. We will try to get 9. So how we can get 7? That is the question. From 957, how we can get 7? How we can get is, one logic is by performing division with the 10, and we will consider the remainder. So 957 mod 10. Then we will get remainder. Let us consider remainder as R. Okay. So 957 mod 10, what will be the remainder now? 957 mod 10 by 7. So remainder will be 7. Now whenever we get 7, that we have to add to sum. So sum is 0, that will be added with R. So it will become 7. Okay. Afterwards, this n value we will update. As we have considered already 7, we will be considering remaining 2 only. That means we have to change this 957 as 95. How we can change this one is by dividing with 10. But we will consider quotient. Okay, we will consider quotient now. So now 957 by 10. Then we will get 95. Afterwards, we have to get 5. How we can get 5? Again, we will be dividing with. Again, we will divide with 10, and we will consider remainder. So 95 mod 10. So mod 10. Then we will get the remainder as 5. Okay. This remainder we have to add to sum. So this will become sum is equal to sum plus whatever the sum we have already plus remainder. So it will become. Next, this 95, from this 95, 5 we have already got. So 9 only we have to consider. So how we can get a 95, 9 out of 9 from 95 by dividing with 10, and we will consider quotient. So 95 by 10, then 9 we will get, and 9 mod 10. 9 mod 10 means 9 only. Why? Because 9 is less than 10, so 9 only we will get. So the remainder is 9, that we will be adding to sum. So what will be the sum now? 21. Next, as we did by 10 by 10, Here also we will do by 10. 9 by 10. 9 by 10 will be 0. 9 by 10 will be 0. Okay, so it will become 0. Whenever we get 0, then we will stop. Okay, here we will stop, and whatever the sum we have, that will be the output. We will print output. So same thing we have kept here. Some value we have initialized as 0. Okay, this you write before this while loop, you write sum is equal to 0. Afterwards, just we are calculating the remainder. Remainder is n mod 10. Then n value we are changing as n by 10. Next, some value as sum plus r. This will be repeated until n becomes 0. Whenever n becomes 0, then we will be printing sum. Print sum. That's it. Okay. Yeah. This one you do it. Okay. And another one is you are having like same that 957 only you consider. Okay. You have to reverse the given number. 957 is the input. Then what will be the output? 759. Okay. Now you consider another one. If I give 57, what should be the output? If I give 5, if I give 7, then 7 only. Right? Now from here you go. 7 means 7 only. 57, 75. 957, 759. So can you able to give any logic? How we can get the reverse of the given number? What? The 957 we are taking as n value. Given n value is 957. Entirely one number. We are not taking individual digits. 957 will be given as the input. But we know how we can get individual digits. We know, right? So how we can get? Same thing, mod. If you perform mod, then we will get a last digit. So if you have only one digit like 7, then that will be the reverse. Okay. So mod we will be performing, then we will get this. Afterwards, whenever we try to divide with 10, then we will get 0, then we can stop. Understand? So till this point clear. Now you consider 2 digits. 57. What we will do? We will take 7. First we will take 7. Afterwards, when we consider only single digit, so that will be the reverse. Afterwards, whenever we get second digit, then this has to be shifted. So how we can shift? 7 we have, but whenever we get 5, then this should be considered as whenever we consider 7 alone, that is in units place. Okay. But if you consider 5 also, then it should be, this 7 should be considered as tens place. How we can shift the digit to the tens place? We have to perform multiplication with 10. Okay, then we will get here 70 plus 5, then we will get 75, which is reverse of the given number. Okay, now as of now 2 digits reversed. Now third digit came 9. Then what we will do? This 75 we have already reversed. So 75 we have to change it as 7 is in a tens place. We have to shift to 100. 5 we have to shift to tens place. So how we can shift? Into 10. So this will become 750. Just 75 multiplied by 10. So 750 plus 9. So then we will get 759. Got it? Like that, if you take 1, 2, 3, 5, then now you tell 1, 2, 3, 5. First n mod, n mod 10. N mod 10. This will be the remainder, right? Now 5 we will get afterwards. R is equal to, like here we have taken sum, right? Like that one more variable we have to take to keep the reverse. Okay, let us consider reverse itself. Reverse is the variable. Now you tell. Okay, reverse is as of now this remainder itself reverse, isn't it? Okay, as of now. Afterwards we will update n value 1 2 3 5. We will be updating as 1 2 3. So how we can update? N is equal to n by 10. Okay. Next, again we will find remainder, isn't it? We will find remainder. After getting the remainder, like 3 we will get as the remainder. What is the reverse now? Reverse is 5 and the remainder is now 3. Now what we have to do? 5 into 10. What is 5? What is 5? What is 5? Reverse. So that reverse we have to multiply with 10. Whatever the reverse it may be, that is 75 or 57, whatever it may be, that reverse we have to multiply with 10. Then we have to add. We have to add remainder. So reverse is equal to, now you tell. Reverse, reverse star, we have to multiply with 10 plus R. Okay. Now n value will be updated again. 1 2 3 5 to 12. Again, this reverse becomes 53 now. Afterwards, remainder 12 mod 10. We will get the remainder as 2. Now 53 will change it as 530. 530 plus 2. So we will get 532, isn't it? Next, n value will be changed from 12 to 1. So 1 mod 10. 1 mod 10. 1. So next, this 532 will be changed as 5320 plus remainder. What is the remainder? 1. So 5321. What is n? N is 1. N by 10 means we will get 0. Then we have to stop. What is the answer now? 5321. Input is 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 5. Here. Got it? So this we have to repeat for how many times? We don't know how many number of times. That's why we have to use while loop. So while n greater than 0, we have to repeat. Okay. Finally, what we have to print? What we have to print? Reverse. This one we have to print. Okay. Now one important question. 1 2 3 5. We will get first 5. Okay, first 5 as the remainder. Now you substitute here reverse into 10 plus remainder. Remainder is 5. Okay. What is here? What is the value of reverse initially? Reverse should be 0. When we consider only one digit, then that only should be the reverse. Okay, so this should be nullified. This should be 0. How it can be 0? If it is 0, then only 0 into 10 will be 0. So reverse should be initialized with the value 0. Okay. Yeah. So this is to get the reverse of the given number. Okay. And there is do you get the point? There is one term called palindrome. Do you know palindrome? Palindrome in the sense, suppose if we have 1 to 1, what is the reverse of this? Reverse of this number is 1 to 1. So it is said to be a palindrome. Okay. Now you consider 1 2 3 2 1. What is the reverse of it? 1 2 3 2 1. So it is a palindrome. Okay. 1 2 2 1. Palindrome, right? 141, 144, 441. So it is not equal to this. So it is not a palindrome. Okay. So you do this program as well. That is, check whether the given number is palindrome or not. So for that, what you have to do? Just you have to find the reverse of the given number. then you have to compare that reverse is equal to n. If reverse is equal to given n, then we can say it is palindrome, otherwise it's not a palindrome. But there is one practical issue, like we are when this loop will be changed, when this loop will be terminated, when n becomes 0. So reverse will be something like 5 3 2 1. If you give 1 2 2 1 as the input, what will be the reverse? 1 2 2 1. Okay, what will be the n by end of this loop? N value becomes 0. Although it is palindrome, those two are not equal, right? Got my point? We are changing n value directly, so n value will become 0 by end of this loop. Okay, irrespective of whether it is palindrome or not. So how can we do? Yeah, we have to preserve the n value before modifying it. So you take another variable, you initialize with the just you take let us say n1 is equal to n. Just you preserve that n value in n1. Afterwards, you can change n value here. Finally, what we have to check, whether reverse is equal to, that is, if reverse is equal to n1 or not, that we have to check. Okay, if it is equal to n1, then it is palindrome, otherwise not a palindrome, like that. Yeah. So these things you do it. Even same palindrome concept will exist in strings as well. You consider this string. What is the reverse of this string? So it is a palindrome string. Understand? Palindrome string. Any other? Any other? Very good. Oppo. Yeah, Oppo. Yeah. Like this, we are having several palindromes. Given a string, whether it is a palindrome string or not, you can check. Okay. Before that, you can try it like what is the reverse of the given string? Reverse of the given number means we could use this one, but given string means we cannot use this, because those characters you cannot divide with 10, all these things. So we have to apply some other logic. You try that also. Whatever the things we have discussed regarding strings, you could able to do by using those. You try. Okay. So in today's lab, you have to work on what are the problems? Sum of the individual digits, reverse of the given number, palindrome or not. Okay, these three definitely you have to do. And earlier some pending programs were there, right? Regarding strings. What else? Regarding tuple list. Yeah. Regarding string list, I will be telling one problem. You noted, right? Just you take list as the input. I will explain the problem only. You work out in the lab. Okay, how can you write it? Of course, it is simple logic only. In the list, how can take list as the input is just you initialize with the empty list. Okay, what you are conveying here is L is the variable which is of type list. Understand? List, empty list. Now you take how many number of elements that you wanted to store in list. So n you take as the input. So integer input, enter number of elements. Enter number of elements. Don't enter directly here 5, 3 like that. This is not first lab, first time you are not working. Okay. Here what you have to specify, just appropriate message. Okay. Some message, enter some value like that. Okay. Next, that will be stored in n. Then afterwards, L is equal to? No. How many number of elements that we wanted to store in the list that we are taking? Like I will tell you the problem directly. Here you see, we are having a list like 15, 25, 30, 17, 20, 4, like this we are having a list. Okay. Now one value I will be giving, that I am saying as key. Okay, now you say 17 is the key. Whether key is present in this list or not, is it present in the list or not? Yes. How can you able to say? That is the problem. Whether this key is present in this list or not, you have to check. Okay, that is searching problem. So this key is present in this or not, how we can check is, how we are doing manually, that only you bring out, that's it. Just key value we are scanning all these things, right? By taking before this one, if I ask key is present in this or not, you cannot say. But if I give the input as 17, then immediately you are searching whether 15 is equal to 17 or not. If it is not, then we'll go to the next one. We'll go to the next one. We'll go to the next one until we find this, or until the list is exhausted. If list is exhausted, then we can say the key is not present. Understand? Like that. So how can we get this list as the input? First of all, that's why L is empty list. Afterwards, how many elements we wanted to enter, that you take as the n. So how many here we are having? 6. So that you take as the input. While running, I may give 6, I may give 7, I may give 10. Okay, those many elements we have to take as the input, right? So how can we take one element as the input first of all? L dot, this list is there. For this list we can append some elements. So for that we are having the function called L dot append of n. N is number of elements, not element. Number of elements. 15 we have to take separately. So let us consider A into A, we will take first element. So how we can take first element? Enter element. Okay, here you write enter element. Then we will get 15, let us say. That 15 we have to append to L. What is L? L is list, empty list as of now. So that for that we are adding A. What is N? Number of elements. Okay, how many elements we wanted to take? 6, 7, that depends upon the user. Okay, so now we are taking one element, afterwards we are adding. After then again next element we have to take, right? Next element how can we take? Again integer of input element. Then that we will store in A, that we will append to existing list. Already we are having 15, let us say. 15 will be appended with 25. Okay, again we will take another input. Another input we will append. Another input will append. Like this we will repeat. So these two steps we have to repeat for how many times? N times. That's why which we have to use? We have to use loop. What loop we have to use? What loop we have to use? How many times we have to repeat? You are saying, right? How many times we know it? When we know how many number of times to repeat, then we can say for loop. We can make use of for loop. So for I in how many times we have to repeat? I in range of n directly. Range of n, then this will be repeated for n times. 0 to n minus 1. Isn't it? So n times it will be repeated, then we are getting entire list. After that, one more input we have to take, that is key. To take input. That is also input only, right? Key value we have to take. Then starting from 0th index, list will have index, right? List will have index, like this one will be stored in the form of cells. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this cell indexes will be there. So L of 0 means 15 we will get, L of 1, L of 2, L of 3, like this we are having. So we have to take L of 0, then we have to compare with key. L of 0 equal to key or not. If it is equal, then we can say key is present. If it is not equal, then we will go to the next one, that is L of 1. L of 1 is equal to key or not. If it is equal, then we can say present. Otherwise, again L of 2 equal to key. So L of, what is the condition? L of 0 first time, L of 0 equal to key or not. Okay, if it is equal, then we can say print found. Okay, found. Afterwards, L of, if it is not present, if it is article not equal, then L of 1. If it is not equal, then L of 2. So every time we are changing this index only, condition will be same. So L of I we can say. What is the value of I initially? We have to start from 0. So 0 to n minus 1. So we have to repeat this statement for I in range of 0 to n minus 1. If you give, then it will go up to n minus 2. 0 to n we have to give. Okay, 0 to n, or we can give directly n as well. So range of n we will be checking. Suppose if you find this one, then can we need to check for other things? Suppose 25 only given as the key. 25 is found at L of 1 itself. Can we need to check? It is found, right? Directly we can conclude and we can stop. How we can terminate like that? By using break. So whenever this is equal, then we can say it is found and we can say break. Okay. After coming out of this loop, we will be checking what is the value of I. If it is coming before this, then we can say it is found. If it is, if I value is equal to n minus 1, that is it is going up to end of the list, then we can say it is not found. Okay, that condition we will check. Okay, this is an exercise to you. What is the condition that we have to put, that you do it. Okay, entire program I have written, just you have to check. Membership operator also you can use, but this is manual thing. Okay, that also you try, but before that you do it this. Yeah, so these problems you do it, and after entering the lab, you keep the bags and your mobiles front, in the front row. Don't keep your bags and mobiles with you. Okay, today you try how much impact it will be for 2.5 hours. Okay, go. Sorry.